The brain operates on a very simple system. If it's pleasurable, the brain wants more of it. It actually stimulates your motor cortex. You go after that pleasure. And you're going after it and going after it. And if anything that comes in that's painful, not pleasurable, stop, and then it puts everything in reverse. We're talking about the motivational center of your brain. Thanks to the work of Jacques Panksepp and others, we now know specifically what motivates a human being. And it's far simpler than almost anything you've ever read anywhere before. And it takes place in a very tiny part in the lower part of your brain called the nucleus accumbens. I prefer to call it the M drive. M drive stands for motivation, money, and more. Okay? And why does it do that? Because it feels good to the brain. It's the basic mechanism to say, this is good for me. What feels good for me is survival-oriented. And the same thing is true for business. If you really try to motivate yourself with something on a very instinctual level, you are not going to feel enough motivation to move forward. You'll be using your thoughts to push yourself, but your motivational center is going to be sitting here like this. Yeah, I want to make $150,000. Yeah, I want to build an internet thing. Yeah. The other part of your brain is going, well, why? What's so fun about the internet? It changes all the time. That's how it works. So it's very important that you get out of this stupid everyday consciousness that thinks it knows what it wants and find a deeper level. And that's what Money Squared is about. We're going to drive you to a level of instinctual awareness, a place where your frontal lobes begin to expand to a point that not only will it wipe out real fears, but it will wipe out all of the imaginary fears that you have. So here's a question. What really motivates us? Do you know what really motivates you? If you do, write them down on a sheet of paper. What motivates you to get up out of bed in the morning? What really turns you on? What makes you excited? What makes you want to put your clothes on twice as fast and run out of the door? There's really only about 4 things. And we do this by flashing different types of pictures to people for less than 1 second while they're in an fMRI brain scan machine. So you're actually looking at one of the particular studies. If you're an animal lover and you see a dog wearing a suit, or whatever he's wearing at this, it will stimulate your brain a little bit, but you're not going to run out and go put a dress on your dog. If you look at a lighthouse, hardly anything happens. Nobody gets excited about lighthouses. Well, some people do, the people who build lighthouses, for example. But this is why you have to go inside and find out which images really turn you on. We don't do this when we create our vision board, which is a mistake. We have to build a vision board based upon things that we know give us a sense of pleasure. And that's very easy. All you have to do is feel it on a bodily level. Of course, lustful images, whether you deny it or not, show you a picture for a half a second, and my God, all kinds of things are motivated in both men and women that I cannot talk about from this stage. Almost as much as a plate full of your favorite comfort food. So take a moment, close your eyes, breathe in deeply. Think about everyone you deeply love and care for. Think about the best moments in your relationship. Not the worst ones, not the problems, just the best ones. Can you feel that sensation? Can you feel how every fear, doubt, and anxiety is abolished? And if you look closely enough, you'll actually begin to desire to want more of that. The more you think of a loving person, the more you want to pick up the phone and call them, the more you want to greet them. And yet we don't do this in daily life. Before you go home, before you go into a business meeting, I want you to take a moment and to think about the best business meetings you have. I want you to think about the best quality of the person you're about to do business with. I want you to think about the best quality of your kid, no matter how much they're messing up. And that will motivate you to engage in a meaningful way with your child. You open up your mouth and you say one negative thing, one doubt or one anxiety. You trigger their amygdala, and it's like you are holding them under the water. They're going to feel like they're going to drown, and they're going to back away from you. Now, there's a picture missing from the middle of this. Because there is one image. If I show it to you for 1/20th of a second, motivates your brain to take more action. You put more effort and energy into anything you are doing. And you can probably guess what that image is. A single coin. Flashed. And here you can see in how they set it up. They first flash you something that looks like a coin, but they eliminate that because they want to make sure that you're not just getting turned on by anything that's round. Okay? And then they flash the coin, and the amount of effort that you use, whether you're playing a money game or you're doing a competition, engaged in any kind of activity that is productive, which is obviously what makes you successful at work, money turns you on. Money makes you hungrier. John showed me a video the other day. I think Srini had presented it last year as well. Put a bowl of candy out here. Have a person count a bunch of cards out. Have another group of individuals counting out a bunch of money. That bowl of candy will disappear as you count money. Money stimulates hunger. So if you want to understand how the human brain is designed around money, it doesn't sound that pleasant. We want as much of it as we possibly can. We want as much stuff as we possibly can. We want to see whatever it is that we want to see because it is incredibly pleasurable. And it does one other thing. The moment the nucleus accumbens gets stimulated, dopamine gets released. It's the reward part of the brain. And you know what it does? It actually wakes up your frontal lobes. For every other animal. Once it gets its bowl of food, a little pat on the head, it goes to sleep. Okay? It enjoys its pleasure. Pleasure is momentary, which is why for every single creature, including human beings, you're going to want more. And we've done the same test and study. I ask people, how happy are you? How wealthy are you? It doesn't matter whether they put down a 9 for happiness and a 9 for wealth. When I ask them how much more happiness or wealth do they want, they put down 10. We are greedy. We are hungry. We don't stop. That's how powerful the nucleus accumbens is. So, how come we're all not rich? How come you all haven't just gotten up of your chairs right now and run out of the door and gotten onto the computer and done some business and then come back in and have some more money and get a few more tips or whatever else? And if you don't keep this pleasure going 24/7 while you were working, if you don't take 5 minutes every hour and tune in to what really gives you a sense of pleasure, you get burnout.